Now let's put all that positive to the side for 2 seconds. McConan was also talking shit about me a few years ago.
I remember that.
Oh, man. That's the part that sucks. I'm not a decent man from the city of demons. I'm the demon himself.
Whoa.
McConan was... listen, I'm not about to kick somebody while they're in the kitchen.
But
what I'm saying is, but this is a valuable lesson to be learned from McConan. While he was kicking my back and audience, he was calling me all types of losers, bums, deadbeats, and one-hit wonders. And I never said nothing back. But
you were him.
Yeah, he got more slithers than me. So I couldn't say nothing back.
Got it.
But now that he's cooking and happy about it, I will let him and the rest of you know there's always been levels to one-hit wonders.
That's true.
I think that he thought that we were kinfolk because we both had one song that was particularly, that was a lot bigger than the rest of our songs.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he's cooking sausages and shit, I want to let him know you shouldn't have did that. We were never the same just because we both. That was in poor taste. It was in bad judgment. And I can't say too much more on it because I'm doing great in life and God is good. So you can't kick people while they're in the kitchen.
Now, Joe Budden is talking from a revenge perspective or a avenge perspective because he said that I Love McConan made statements about him before. I'm not sure specifically about those comments he's talking about, but for some reason it sat in his craw for a while because he brings this up pretty much every year anytime he gets to take a shot at I Love McConan or anybody for that matter. But I Love McConan specifically, he had a beef with, and I kind of feel like he was inaccurate in a couple of ways on his statements. But of course, his statements are strictly from hatred and just a dislike for I Love McConan. But as far as artistry goes, McConan is one of one. Now, there are many type people that you can compare to Joe Budden, and most of those were in the Slaughterhouse. You know, Joel Ortiz's or the Crooked Eyes or Rush the 5'9". Those artists are very similar to him. But I Love McConan, there's not too many people you can compare to him. Maybe a Kid Cudi type, but like I said, Kid Cudi's kind of one of one. There's not a lot of artists like him. They created their own sound. And he said this on Tuesday record. I Love McConan said that on Tuesday record that he created his own style. And most people didn't get his style. And I think it kind of hindered him from getting to the level that he wanted because he had his own sound and most people didn't understand it and thought it was a joke. But when you actually listen to his music and his artistry, he's really talking about things and he really has a unique sound that I appreciate in hip hop because hip hop is about individuality and being your own person, not sounding like somebody else. But of course, there's only could be so many styles. So some people are going to kind of mimic or kind of sound similar to other people. But at the end of the day, it's about creating your own uniqueness to yourself for the individuality. And I think I Love McConan had that or has that, but he's retired now. But Joe Budden, you know, while I was a fan of his music or I am a fan of his music, but at the same time, he has a style that other people has had. So McConan is way different in that respects. But then the debate was who had the better one-hit wonder, Joe Budden's Pump It Up or McConan's Tuesday record. Now, Pump It Up was a classic 2003 record that swept the nation. It was in all kind of movies. It was in Fast and the Furious. I want to say it was in Mean Girls. It was in You Got Served. It was on the Madden 2004 soundtrack. It was on a lot of popular shows and played throughout different avenues in the world during that time. And it had a great run and it was a major hit. The sample was great. All of these different things. The rapping was good. So it was different, but it was definitely a pop record. That was the difference in it. But he turned one hit into being one of the best podcasters in the world. He's my favorite podcaster for sure. But McConan released this Tuesday, Club Going Up on a Tuesday record in 2014. And I remember this time in my life. This is when I started my career off in 2014. But he had this mega hit that had people partying on a weekday. So that's impact for you, for people to go to the club on a Tuesday. Most people go, maybe Thursday night, but definitely Fridays and Saturdays. Probably never really on Sundays, but for going to Tuesday in the middle of a work week, uh, he had people doing things that they usually don't do. So he just showed you the influence he had. And then the song had Drake on it. So it pushed it to astronomical heights because it had Drake on it. And he was Drake's artist at the time. So he had so much hype and so much momentum going into this track that it could have, he could have easily had a career, but I think he got snaked by OVO, allegedly. So he kind of got blackballed going forward. But other than that, I think this hit would have catapulted him into a bigger career, into a sustainable career, more sustainable career, I should say, because he still had one. People just, I think, blackballed him at one point. But and his style, like I said, is always was ahead of his time. So his style was one of those where people wasn't ready for. And I think it's still not ready today. But then I think 20 years from now, people look back and say, man, why this guy didn't do more music, or why was he bigger than what he was supposed to be? Because I think the answer was he was blackballed by OVO, I believe. But we're measuring this song against Tuesday against Pump It Up. Now, popularity, I think Pump It Up was better because it just reached so many the masses of people. And it came out in an era in 2003 where CDs were popular and singles were popular on CDs. And radio play was more vibrant back then in 2003. So it's obviously Pump It Up was better popularity rise. Now, I think Tuesday was better artistry, but was due to his originality, because I talked about this before. It's a one of one. It's not, you haven't heard a song like it even till now. That's the only song that you're going to hear like that Club Going Up on a Tuesday. And Pump It Up was just a pump fake for Joe Budden's career, because he didn't make another hit like Pump It Up. Pump It Up was one of those hits he just did to get on, similar to what Doja Cat did with that Moo song. Joe Budden was a backpack rapper. He was emo rapping. It was very sad type music. Pump It Up was very energetic and very uplifting. He didn't really make music like that ever again, because he had to make a single to get in the door. Because back then, that was a formula. You make you a single that was different than what you do for the radio, and then you go into your bag of what your artistry was. But Joe Budden didn't make anything close to Pump It Up sonically later in his career. But McConan made the same type of hits, maybe not to the same chart-topping success, but the same artistry was in the same music that McConan made going forward. So that's why I believe Tuesday was better artistry than Pump It Up, because he stayed consistent. I love McConan stayed consistent to his sound, opposed to Joe Budden using his Pump It Up song just to catapult his career and to launch him into a career that he could sustain going forward. But tell me what your thoughts about which is the better song between Pump It Up or Club on a Tuesday. And until next time, I'll see you next time.